Xylox stared at the tall walls of the Galactic Academy, feeling both nervous and curious. This was the most respected school in the entire galaxy. Only the brightest students from many planets could study here. Xylox's home planet was small and quiet, but he had dreamed of coming to this place since he was young. Today was his first day. Inside the grand hall, dozens of students from different species talked and laughed. They all wore uniforms with colors representing their home worlds. Xylox noticed many eyes looking at him, some with interest, others with quiet judgment. He knew one thing very well. Most aliens believed humans were weak. The stories told about Earth painted humans as simple, fragile creatures. This idea was common everywhere, and no one questioned it. The Academy's leaders had made it clear. Humans were considered a minor species. Their technology was seen as basic, their strength as limited, and their culture as unsophisticated. Xylox found this strange. How could a species that lived on a small blue planet in a far corner of the galaxy be so unimportant? Something did not feel right. His first class was called Interstellar History and Species Traits. The professor, a tall alien with green skin and sharp eyes, began by speaking about humanity. Humans, the professor said, are among the weakest beings we have studied. Their survival depends on luck and the help of more powerful allies. They are not a threat to us. The students laughed quietly. Xylox felt a knot in his stomach. He had read a few old reports about humans but had never thought deeply about them. Now, the professor's words made him want to learn more. Was it really true that humans were weak? Later, in the Academy's vast library, Xylox found himself surrounded by endless shelves filled with knowledge. He searched for books and records about Earth and humans. He discovered many stories from long ago, stories of humans surviving terrible wars, harsh climates, and deadly diseases. These accounts showed people struggling, but not giving up. One record told about a time when humans faced a great ice age. Temperatures dropped so low that many species died. Humans, however, used fire and built shelters to protect themselves. They hunted carefully and shared food with one another. Their will to live was strong. Another story described the Great Wars. Humans fought against themselves. Cities were destroyed, and millions lost their lives. Still, humans rebuilt their homes and kept moving forward. Xylox was surprised. He never expected such strength from a species considered weak. As days passed, Xylox continued to read. He learned about humans living in deserts where water was scarce and heat burned the land. Others survived in thick jungles filled with dangerous animals. Some humans climbed the highest mountains or dived into the deepest oceans. They adapted to their surroundings, changing their habits and tools as needed. The more Xylox learned, the more questions he had. Why did so many aliens look down on humans? Why did the Academy teach that humans were unimportant? These thoughts made him feel different from his classmates. They still laughed at the idea of human strength. But Xylox wanted to know the truth. One afternoon, Xylox found an old message from a human explorer. The explorer spoke about meeting alien species for the first time. The message said humans were cautious, but brave. They learned quickly and never gave up when faced with danger. The explorer believed humans could survive anywhere, even in space. This message stayed with Xylox. It gave him hope and a new purpose. He decided he would prove that humans were not weak. If others refused to see the truth, he would find it himself. The alien students around Xylox continued to treat humans with disrespect. They said humans had no chance in real battles or space travel. Some even called humans primitive. Xylox felt lonely sometimes, but he did not let their words stop him. He knew he had to dig deeper. One day, Xylox's professor gave an assignment. Each student must write a report about a species and explain why it was strong or weak. Most students chose famous alien races with powerful weapons and advanced ships. Xylox chose humans. When he told his classmates, they laughed loudly. "Why waste time on weak humans?" one said. "You will fail," another added. But Xylox smiled. He felt ready. He spent long hours gathering facts, stories, and evidence. He read about human science, art, and courage. He found tales of humans helping one another, fighting for freedom, and surviving disasters. Zylox saw a pattern. Humans were not just survivors, they were fighters. The day to present his report came. Zylox stood in front of the class, heart pounding. He showed pictures of human warriors, explorers, and inventors. He told stories of battles won against impossible odds. He explained how humans could think in ways others could not, using creativity and teamwork. Some students looked shocked. Others were silent. The professor raised an eyebrow but said nothing. Zylox finished with a clear message. Humans were not weak. They were strong in ways many aliens could not understand. As he returned to his seat, Zylox felt a mix of fear and hope. He knew this was only the beginning. Many would still doubt him. But he had opened a door, a chance to change minds. Walking out of the classroom, Zylox glanced up at the stars shining through the academy's huge windows. Somewhere out there, humans lived and thrived. Maybe one day the galaxy would see them not as weak creatures but as powerful allies, or even feared enemies. Zylox was ready to find out. Zylox sat in a quiet corner of the Galactic Academy library, surrounded by towering shelves filled with books and digital records. The air smelled faintly of old paper and humming data cores. His eyes scanned every page he could find about humans, eager to uncover truths that others ignored. The deeper he went, the more he realized that human history was far more complex than anyone at the Academy had believed. Ancient human civilizations rose and fell with stories full of bravery, loss, and survival. Zylox read about the great cities that once stood proud but later crumbled to dust. Yet, from those ruins, new societies emerged, learning from past mistakes. This cycle of destruction and rebirth fascinated him. Unlike many alien species that relied on vast technology, humans had relied on sheer willpower to rebuild time and time again. One record described the Ice Age, a period when Earth's temperatures dropped so low that much of the planet was covered in ice. Many animals vanished, but humans adapted. They fashioned clothing from animal skins and constructed shelters out of wood and stone. Fire became their greatest ally, providing warmth and protection against predators. Zylox was impressed by how humans faced nature's harshest tests without advanced machines or powerful weapons. Next, he discovered accounts of great wars. Humans fought each other fiercely, battling over land, resources, and beliefs. These wars were brutal and long-lasting, leaving scars on the planet. But even in the darkest times, humans showed an ability to form alliances, forgive old wounds, and rebuild broken communities. Zylox noticed a pattern of unity emerging from chaos. Despite their differences, humans could come together when survival depended on it. Zylox's attention shifted to stories of exploration. Ancient humans ventured into unknown lands, crossing oceans and deserts. They climbed mountains higher than many aliens could imagine, and dived into seas filled with strange creatures. Their curiosity pushed them beyond comfort zones. These explorers faced many dangers, but returned with knowledge that shaped their future. Zylox realized that humans had an adventurous spirit, rarely matched by other species. Another fascinating chapter revealed the creativity of humans. Zylox read about art, music, and storytelling, ways humans expressed their emotions and ideas. Paintings on cave walls told tales of hunts and gods. Songs passed down for generations carried memories of joy and sorrow. Humans found strength, not only in battle but also in culture. This emotional depth made them unique in the galaxy. Technology, too, played a crucial role. While many aliens believed human tech was basic, Zylox found evidence of rapid innovation. Humans created machines to farm land, travel faster, and communicate across distances. Though their tools lacked the sophistication of alien devices, humans combined simple parts in clever ways. Zylox admired their ability to solve problems quickly, even under pressure. One of the most surprising discoveries involved humans living in extreme environments. Some groups thrived in deserts where the sun scorched the earth and water was scarce. Others made homes in dense jungles filled with dangerous animals. Humans built their lives around the challenges nature presented. They hunted with traps, gathered plants for medicine, and learned to read the stars for guidance. Xylox found tales of resilience in the face of natural disasters. Earthquakes shattered cities, volcanoes covered lands in ash, and storms swept away entire villages. Yet humans rebuilt. Their communities supported each other, sharing food, shelter, and hope. Xylox realized this was more than simple survival. It was a refusal to surrender to fate. His research also uncovered moments when humans first looked beyond their planet. Early space programs sent tiny machines to other worlds. Though these missions seemed small compared to alien fleets, they marked the beginning of a bold desire to explore the stars. Xylox sensed a growing power within humans that others underestimated. Throughout his studies, Xylox noticed how humans valued family and friendship. These bonds often motivated them to fight harder and take risks. Stories of parents protecting children and friends standing together in danger appeared again and again. Xylox felt these connections gave humans a strength beyond physical power. Xylox's classmates dismissed his findings as romantic nonsense. They mocked the idea that humans could be more than weak survivors. Yet, he remembered each story of hardship overcome. He thought about the endless challenges humans faced and how they adapted without giving up. The simple facts did not fit the old belief that humans were helpless. One night, as Xylox closed a heavy book, a new thought crossed his mind. What if humans' greatest strength was their unpredictability? Other species followed strict rules or relied on known tactics. Humans, however, seemed to improvise, surprise, and adapt in ways no one expected. This made them difficult opponents and valuable allies. Xylox's curiosity grew into determination. He wanted to see humans for himself, to understand their true nature beyond stories and history. He wondered if his future held encounters that would challenge everything he had learned at the academy. His classmates' laughter echoed in his memory, but Xylox felt ready for the truth. He spent hours planning how he might join a mission to a human colony. Xylox imagined walking among humans, observing their daily lives, and witnessing their strengths firsthand. He knew that only by facing humans directly could he prove the reality of their power. Until then, he would keep searching for answers, in the records and legends. The library became Xylox's refuge, a place where old knowledge sparked new ideas. Each page turned added a piece to a growing puzzle. Humans were not the weak creatures his world claimed. They were survivors, fighters, and creators. Their story was one of struggle and triumph. As Xylox prepared to leave the library, he looked up at the stars shining beyond the academy's glass walls. Somewhere out there, humans lived and thrived. They had faced countless dangers, yet they remained strong. The galaxy might have ignored their true power, but Xylox was beginning to see things differently. He promised himself he would not let prejudice blind him. The truth about humans was waiting, and he was determined to find it. Whatever challenges came next, Xylox was ready to face them. The journey to uncover humanity's strength had only just begun. Xylox stood at the edge of the landing platform, his heart pounding with a mix of excitement and uncertainty. Today marked a new chapter in his journey, a chance to witness humans beyond the pages of ancient texts and dusty archives. The Galactic Academy had assigned him to join an elite team for a mission, to observe a distant human colony firsthand. The team expected a routine visit, certain that humans would be easy to study and even easier to control. Xylox, however, carried a growing doubt that things would not go as planned. The spaceship hummed softly as it soared through the endless blackness of space. Xylox peered through the window, watching stars streak past in a mesmerizing dance. He thought about the stories he had read, of humans surviving harsh climates, fierce battles, and unthinkable odds. Could these simple beings truly be as fragile as his peers claimed? The weight of expectation pressed down on him, but a spark of hope burned quietly inside. Upon arrival, the human colony revealed itself like a gem against the barren landscape. Buildings rose from the rocky ground, simple but sturdy. Smoke curled gently from chimneys, and the faint sound of voices carried on the wind. Xylox noticed that the humans moved with purpose, each individual aware of their role in this small society. The colony was protected by walls and watchtowers, a clear sign they were ready for trouble. The alien squad Xylox joined was confident. They laughed quietly, sharing jokes about how easy the mission would be. "Humans are primitive," one said, his voice dripping with disdain. "They won't know what hit them." Xylox listened, but did not join in. His mind lingered on the possibility that humans might surprise them. The team stepped cautiously beyond the colony gates, their advanced weapons ready. Xylox noticed the humans did not panic or flee. Instead, they seemed calm, their eyes sharp and alert. A human leader, tall and strong, moved with steady confidence. His presence demanded respect, even without words. Suddenly the ground trembled beneath their feet. From the hills surrounding the colony, groups of humans appeared, armed with weapons that looked crude but were clearly effective. They moved in coordinated patterns, using the landscape to their advantage. Xylox felt a rush of adrenaline. These were not weak creatures running blindly into danger. The humans launched a surprise attack. They used traps hidden among the rocks, clever tactics that slowed the alien advance. The squad's technology struggled against this unpredictable assault. Xylox watched as his comrades stumbled and hesitated, caught off guard by the humans' skill. One human soldier led a group through a narrow canyon, disappearing from sight. Moments later, Xylox heard the echo of explosions. The humans had destroyed a key supply line, cutting off reinforcements. The alien team's confidence wavered. Xylox moved carefully, trying to keep up with the battle's fast pace. He saw humans, working together, communicating with gestures and quick signals. Their teamwork was precise, even though their gear seemed less advanced. The aliens had never faced enemies who relied so much on strategy and adaptation. A sudden shout alerted Xylox to danger nearby. A human warrior lunged from behind a boulder, knocking an alien soldier to the ground. The fight was fierce but brief. The human's determination shone in his eyes. He fought not just for victory, but to protect his home and people. As the skirmish continued, Xylox felt his doubts grow stronger. The humans were not the weak species his academy had claimed. They were survivors, fighters, and clever tacticians. Each move they made was thoughtful, designed to outsmart an enemy who relied too much on technology. The alien squad tried to regroup, but the humans kept pressing their advantage. Using the terrain expertly, they forced the aliens into narrow passes and steep climbs. The humans knew their land better than anyone. This gave them a powerful edge. Xylox realized that the humans' strength came from more than just weapons or numbers. It was their knowledge of the environment and their ability to think on their feet. They could change plans quickly and use whatever tools they had to their benefit. The battle raged on, with both sides suffering losses. The aliens began to question their mission. How had they underestimated a species they had long dismissed? The humans were teaching them a harsh lesson, one that could not be ignored. During a brief pause in fighting, Xylox observed the humans up close. He saw tired faces but also fierce determination. Some carried wounded comrades, refusing to leave anyone behind. Their unity was clear, a bond stronger than any technology. Xylox felt a deep respect growing inside him. These humans were more than just survivors. They were warriors shaped by struggle and hardship. Their spirit was unbreakable, even in the face of a superior force. The alien commanders sent messages demanding an end to the mission. The humans had proven more dangerous than expected. Retreat seemed the only option. Xylox understood that the Academy's belief in human weakness was flawed. This encounter would change everything. As the aliens prepared to leave, Xylox made a silent vow. He would learn more about these remarkable beings. Their fight was not just about this small colony. It was a story of humanity's true power, one he was only beginning to understand. Looking back at the fading lights of the human settlement, Xylox felt a mixture of awe and determination. The journey ahead would be difficult, but he was ready. Humans were not the weak species he once believed. They were a force to be reckoned with. The stars above seemed brighter now, filled with new possibilities. Xylox knew this was only the start of a larger story, one where humans would no longer be underestimated. Xylox watched the battle unfold with a growing sense of awe. The humans were unlike any enemy the alien forces had faced before. Their strategies were unexpected, and their determination was fierce. No longer could the alien soldiers dismiss them as weak or insignificant. Every move the humans made was deliberate, clever, and powerful. The humans struck with surprising speed, disappearing into the rocky landscape before the aliens could react. They set traps using simple materials found in their environment, hidden, pits covered with branches, sharp spikes placed just beneath the ground, and cleverly camouflaged nets. These traps slowed the alien advance and caused confusion among their ranks. It was clear that the humans understood their land better than any outsider ever could. One group of human fighters moved through a narrow canyon, using the shadows and rocks to their advantage. They communicated silently, hand signals passing, from one to another, like a well-rehearsed dance. When they attacked, they did so with precision, hitting the aliens quickly before retreating to safety. Their weapons, though less advanced than alien technology, were effective and expertly used. Xylox noticed something else. The humans were fearless. Even when facing superior firepower, they did not hesitate. Their courage inspired their comrades and unsettled their enemies. This bravery was not reckless but rooted in a deep sense of purpose and loyalty. Each human soldier fought not just for survival, but to protect their home and people. The alien commanders, who had come expecting an easy mission, were now desperate. Their forces were spread thin, and morale was sinking. The humans' unpredictable tactics made it difficult to form a solid defense. Every time the aliens thought they had the upper hand, the humans adapted quickly, finding new ways to strike. Xylox's respect for the humans grew with every encounter. He saw families working together, sharing supplies and information. Even civilians helped by building barricades or caring for the wounded. This unity created a strong front that no alien attack could easily break. During one fierce skirmish, a human warrior named Mara stood her ground against overwhelming odds. Surrounded and outnumbered, she fought with determination that stunned Xylox. She used her environment skillfully, leaping over rocks and rolling through sand to avoid attacks. Her actions bought precious time for others to regroup and strengthen their position. Xylox found himself inspired by Mara's spirit. He realized that the humans' true power lay not only in their physical abilities, but also in their mindset. Their will to keep fighting, no matter the challenge, was a force in itself. The battle stretched on for hours, with neither side gaining a clear advantage. The humans knew their land intimately and used it to protect themselves. The aliens had to rely on technology and numbers, but struggled to overcome the humans' resourcefulness. Xylox noticed that the aliens' advanced weapons sometimes failed against simple but well-placed defenses. For example, humans blocked energy beams with reflective surfaces made from natural minerals. They also used sound and light to confuse sensors and disrupt targeting systems. The humans' ability to turn the environment into a weapon surprised the alien soldiers. Xylox understood that this adaptability was a skill developed through generations of survival. While other species might depend solely on machines, humans relied on their minds and instincts. As the sun began to set, the battle showed no sign of ending. Both sides were exhausted, yet the human spirit seemed unbroken. They sang songs and shouted encouragement, their voices carrying across the battlefield. These moments of hope lifted Xylox's heart. Despite their setbacks, the alien commanders refused to admit defeat. They sent reinforcements and new orders to push harder. However, the humans anticipated these moves, setting ambushes and traps that slowed the enemy's progress. Xylox reflected on the lessons he had learned. The humans were not weak or simple. They were fighters shaped by hardship and united by purpose. Their creativity and courage made them formidable opponents. The alien soldiers began to question their own training and beliefs. How could they have underestimated such a resilient species? Xylox saw fear and respect growing among them. This was a turning point. In the quiet moments between battles, Xylox spoke with some of the humans. He heard stories of loss and hope, of families torn apart and rebuilt. They shared dreams of peace and freedom. These conversations deepened Xylox's understanding and strengthened his resolve. He realized that humans were not only strong because of their weapons or tactics, but because of their hearts. Their connection to each other and their willingness to endure made them powerful beyond measure. As night fell, The humans lit small fires that flickered like stars on the dark ground. Xylox watched, feeling a mix of admiration and sadness. He knew the fight was far from over, but he believed in the humans' chance to survive. The alien commanders decided to withdraw temporarily, surprised and wary of the humans' strength. Xylox stayed behind, watching the humans celebrate quietly. Their laughter and songs echoed softly in the cool night air. Xylox understood that this encounter was more than a battle. It was a lesson that would change the galaxy's view of humanity forever. The humans had proven that they could fight and win against great odds. Returning to the alien camp, Xylox vowed to tell the truth about what he had seen. He wanted to show his people that humans were not weak, but strong, clever, and united. The old beliefs would have to change. Xylox looked to the stars, knowing that many challenges lay ahead. But now, he faced the future with hope. The humans had surprised everyone, including him. They were a force to be reckoned with. This was only the beginning of a new story, one where humans would no longer be underestimated or ignored. Xylox was ready to help write that story. Xylox moved quietly through the dimly lit corridors of the human colony, his footsteps soft against the worn stone floor. He had chosen to separate from the alien squad, knowing that to truly understand humans, he needed to see their world up close. This decision risked alienation from his own people. But his curiosity and growing respect for humanity pushed him forward. In the heart of the settlement, Xylox found a small gathering of humans sharing a meal. The scent of roasted food filled the air and laughter echoed warmly between the modest huts. These people were ordinary, yet their faces held stories of hardship and hope. Xylox observed how they helped one another, offering food to the hungry and comforting the weary. The sense of community was strong and genuine. One woman caught his attention. She moved with quiet strength, her eyes shining with determination. Her name was Alara, a leader among the humans, known for her wisdom and courage. Xylox watched as she spoke softly to a child, soothing fears with gentle words. Her presence commanded respect without a single raised voice. Alara noticed Xylox and approached him cautiously. At first, she was wary of the alien stranger, but Xylox's calm demeanor eased her fears. They began to talk, exchanging stories about their worlds. Xylox shared tales of distant galaxies and advanced technology, while Alara spoke of human resilience and the fight to protect their home. Their conversations revealed much about human values. Alara explained how family and loyalty were at the core of their strength. Humans fought not just for survival, but to preserve the bonds that gave their lives meaning. Xylox realized that this connection was a source of power no weapon could match. As days passed, Xylox witnessed acts of sacrifice and bravery. A group of humans risked their lives to repair defenses after an alien attack. Despite injuries and exhaustion, they worked tirelessly, driven by a shared purpose. Xylox admired their unwavering spirit. In quiet moments, Xylox learned about the fears that haunted the humans. They faced constant threats from hostile forces, harsh environments, and limited resources. Yet, they chose hope over despair. This choice, Xylox understood, made them formidable. Xylox also saw the humans' ability to adapt. When new challenges arose, they found creative solutions. Using simple tools and natural materials, they crafted weapons and shelters. Their ingenuity impressed Xylox more than any advanced alien device he had encountered. One evening, Xylox accompanied Alara to a gathering where stories were told around a fire. Elders shared lessons from the past, reminding everyone of the strength found in unity and perseverance. The stories spoke of battles won against impossible odds and the courage to keep moving forward. Xylox felt deeply moved by these tales. They were not just history, but lessons that shaped the human's identity. He realized that human strength was built on generations of struggle and triumph. During his time among the humans, Xylox faced his own inner conflict. He struggled with loyalty to his alien kin and his growing admiration for humanity. His classmates at the academy continued to mock his views, calling him a traitor for sympathizing with humans. Yet Xylox knew he could not deny what he had learned. One day, humans warned Xylox of a planned alien assault on the colony. The news sparked urgency and fear, but also resolve. The community prepared defenses and trained to stand united against the impending threat. Xylox joined them, ready to fight alongside his new allies. As the battle loomed, Xylox understood that his mission had transformed. He was no longer an observer, but a participant in a struggle that tested courage and belief. He vowed to protect the humans and share their true story with the galaxy. Through this journey, Xylox discovered that humanity's greatest power was not technology or weapons, but their spirit. Their willingness to endure, adapt, and support each other created a strength that could not be measured in numbers alone. Xylox looked to the stars, knowing the challenges ahead were many. Yet with humans by his side, he felt hope. The galaxy would soon see what he had come to understand. Humans were not weak. They were a force born from hardship and united by an unbreakable bond. The path ahead was uncertain, but Xylox was ready. Together with the humans, he would face whatever came next. Their story was far from over. It was only just beginning. Xylox stood before the towering council chamber, its walls gleaming under the cold light of distant stars. Inside, the galaxy's most powerful leaders gathered to discuss the future, particularly the threat posed by humans. For Xylox, this moment was both a challenge and an opportunity. After witnessing humans' true strength firsthand, he felt a pressing need to speak out, despite knowing that his words might be met with anger or disbelief. The IE chamber buzzed with tension as Xylox entered. Members from countless species filled the room, their eyes fixed on him. Many were skeptical of his presence. To them, humans were a minor nuisance, not worthy of serious attention. Their attitudes mirrored the old teachings Xylox had once accepted, without question. Now, he faced the difficult task of changing these deeply held beliefs. Taking a deep breath, Xylox began his report. He spoke calmly and clearly, recounting the mission to the human colony. He described the battle, the humans' tactics, and their unyielding spirit. He told of Mara's bravery, the community's unity, and the clever use of their environment. Each detail challenged the council's assumptions. Some leaders exchanged doubtful glances. One elder with shimmering blue skin scoffed quietly, questioning the accuracy of Xylox's observations. Another, an ancient being with glowing eyes, demanded proof beyond stories. Xylox anticipated these reactions and presented collected data. Images, intercepted communications, and recordings from the mission. Despite the evidence, the council remained divided. A faction insisted that humans were nothing more than primitive fighters, driven by desperation rather than true strength. They argued that advanced technology and superior numbers would quickly crush any human resistance. Xylox countered with a warning. Underestimating humans could prove fatal. He explained that humans' unpredictability and adaptability made them dangerous opponents. Their ability to unite under pressure and exploit their environment was unmatched in recent history. The council had ignored these qualities for too long. As Xylox spoke, he noticed some members nodding thoughtfully. A few younger leaders showed signs of curiosity, questioning their elders' certainty. Yet the majority clung to tradition, unwilling to admit past mistakes. The debate grew heated. Voices rose, accusations flew, and centuries of prejudice surfaced. Xylox remained composed, knowing that change was rarely easy. He understood that the council's fear stemmed from ignorance and pride. Finally, the council reached a decision. They would launch a massive fleet to eliminate the human threat once and for all. The order was clear: crush the colony, prevent any human expansion, and send a message to deter others. Xylox felt a cold wave of dread wash over him. Though he disagreed, Xylox knew he had to comply. The mission would proceed, but he vowed to use every opportunity to protect the humans and reveal their true nature. The coming battle would test everything he believed in. Returning to the humans, Xylox shared the council's plans. The colony prepared quickly, knowing the odds were against them. Their courage did not waver. Alara, Mara, and others led training sessions, strengthening defenses, and boosting morale. Xylox offered his knowledge, helping them understand the alien tactics they might face. As the day of battle approached, tension filled the air. The humans worked tirelessly, forging weapons and repairing structures. The community's bond grew stronger, their determination visible in every action. When the alien fleet finally appeared on the horizon, the humans stood ready. Xylox watched alongside them, heart pounding with a mix of fear and hope. The clash would decide not only the colony's fate, but also the future perception of humanity in the galaxy. The battle was fierce and chaotic. Aliens deployed advanced ships and devastating weapons, confident in their overwhelming power. Humans responded with guerrilla tactics, environmental traps, and teamwork honed through years of survival. Xylox marveled at the humans' resilience. Despite heavy losses, they adapted quickly, turning disadvantages into advantages. They used narrow canyons and dense forests to ambush larger forces. Simple devices disrupted alien sensors and communication. As the fight raged, Xylox fought beside, the humans gaining their trust and respect. Together, they faced impossible odds. Xylox saw in their eyes the same spirit that had drawn him to believe in humanity's strength. The alien commanders, shocked by unexpected setbacks, hesitated, their confidence shattered by humans' tenacity. Messages of retreat circulated among their ranks. When the dust settled, the humans stood victorious, battered but unbroken. Xylox felt a surge of pride and relief. The colony survived because of courage, unity, and an unyielding will to live. Back at the council chamber, news of the defeat spread quickly. Leaders who once dismissed humans were forced to reconsider. The galaxy's view of humanity began to shift. Xylox knew this was only the start. Many battles and challenges lay ahead. Yet, he believed that truth and understanding would prevail. Humans were no longer a secret to be ignored. They were a powerful force, one the galaxy would learn to respect or fear. With renewed purpose, Xylox looked toward the stars. The future was uncertain, but he was ready to face it, standing beside humanity. The battlefield lay quiet now, but the air still thrummed with the echoes of conflict. Xylox stood amid the ruins of what had once been a proud alien fleet, his gaze sweeping over the shattered ships and scattered debris. The humans had triumphed against overwhelming odds, proving their strength not only to the galaxy, but to himself. This victory marked a turning point, one that would rewrite the story of humanity's place in the stars. Xylox's mind raced as he thought back to the early days of his journey, when humans were dismissed as weak, when he was just a curious student struggling to understand a species so different from his own. Now, standing here with the humans, he felt a deep connection. Their resilience had become his lesson, their courage a beacon guiding his path. The human leader, Alara, approached with a tired but proud smile. She had fought fiercely and inspired others to do the same. Her eyes reflected the weight of loss and the promise of hope. Xylox admired her unwavering spirit, knowing she embodied the very heart of humanity. Around them, survivors tended to the wounded and rebuilt what they could. Despite exhaustion, the community's bond grew stronger. They shared stories of sacrifice and bravery, of moments when the impossible was made real. Each tale added to the legend of a people who refused to be conquered. Xylox listened closely as Mara recounted a daring raid that had turned the tide of battle. Her words painted vivid images of narrow escapes and fierce combat, where quick thinking and sheer will saved lives. The human's ability to adapt and persevere amazed him continually. In the aftermath, Xylox took time to reflect. The aliens' underestimation of humans had nearly cost them dearly. What they saw as weakness was actually a wellspring of power, born from struggle, shaped by survival, and strengthened through unity. Humans fought not because they had to, but because they believed in something greater than themselves. News of the defeat reached the Galactic Council swiftly. The leaders who had doubted humans now faced uncomfortable truths. Some acknowledged the need to reconsider old prejudices, while others resisted change, clinging to familiar fears. Xylox knew convincing them would require more than evidence. It demanded patience and persistence. Back with the humans, Xylox found himself welcomed not just as an ally, but as a friend. The barriers of culture and species began to dissolve. Together, they planned for the future, one where humans would no longer hide or be dismissed, but stand proudly among the stars. The colony's recovery was slow but determined. New defenses were built, stronger and smarter. Training sessions prepared every able person for challenges ahead. Xylox joined these efforts, sharing knowledge from his world and learning from human innovation. As time passed, Xylox saw the humans' kindness as well as their strength. They cared for their elders and children alike, valuing every life. Their laughter returned, filling the colony with light after the darkness of war. This balance of toughness and compassion was something Xylox found rare and inspiring. One evening, under a sky painted with distant galaxies, Xylox spoke to Alara about what lay ahead. The universe was vast and unpredictable, but humanity's spirit made them ready for anything. Together they dreamed of peace and exploration, of friendships forged beyond fear. Xylox realized that humanity's true power was more than physical might. It was hope. Hope that even in the face of fear and uncertainty, they could build something better. This hope was a force that no weapon could destroy. As Xylox prepared to return to the Galactic Academy, he carried with him a message, a call for understanding and respect. He knew his path would not be easy. Many would resist the change he represented. Yet, he was committed to sharing the truth about humans, to breaking down walls built by ignorance. The stars awaited, silent witnesses to a new era. Xylox looked up, feeling the weight of history and the promise of the future. Humans had proven themselves worthy, not by chance, but by choice. They were survivors, fighters, and dreamers. His journey was far from over, but Xylox faced it with courage and conviction. The galaxy had been warned. Never again would humanity be underestimated. And so, beneath the endless sky, a new story began. A story of unity, strength, and the unstoppable force of humanity.